In this video, you will learn how to solve quadratic equations by completing the square. Now, completing the square is one of the most important topics in all of algebra. There are many places where you can apply this skill. And so we will begin by talking how to complete the square. And there's only 2 steps. Step 1 is that you take the b and divide by 2. And so in this case, b is positive 4. So 4 divided by 2 gives you 2. So this is the answer that we get from step 1. Now step 2 is to square step 1. So square the answer that we got from step 1. So 2 squared, 2 times 2 is positive 4. And so this positive 4 is what is going to go into the blank. And so let's look at why this gives you a perfect square, because if I just take that expression and I go ahead and factor it, this will give you x plus 2 and x plus 2, or we can write it simply as x plus 2 squared. So this is a perfect square trinomial. Now I want you to notice something. Step 2 gives you the blank, but when you factor it, you don't even need to do the work of factoring, because the number from step 1 drops right in here. For this example, the b is negative 6. So step 1, take b and divide it by 2. Negative 6 divided by 2 gives you negative 3. Now step 2, we're going to take our answer from step 1 and square it. So negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. And this is the number we're going to put into the blank of plus 9. And now, after completing the square, this factors out to be x, and we're going to drop in the number from step 1, minus 3 squared. Now to solve this one, we have x squared plus 10x, but we have this 4 in the way. Remember, to complete the square, we want to have a blank in here instead of having a 4. So let's get rid of it by moving this positive 4 to the other side. It becomes a negative 4. So on the other side, we have 0 minus 4 gives you negative 4. Now to complete the square to fill in the blank, let's do the 2 steps. Step 1, we're going to take this 10, because that's the b term. Take this 10, divided by 2, which gives you positive 5. Now step 2, we're going to take our answer from step 1 and square it. So 5 times 5 is 25. So here we have plus 25 on this side. But because we added 25 on the left side, we need to do the same thing on the right side to keep this equation balanced. So on the right side, plus 25, which gives negative 4 plus 25 gives you positive 21. And then on the left side, we can go ahead and factor, so that would be x plus, remember we have this 5 from step 1, and here, x plus 5 squared equals 21. Now, we go ahead and solve this by taking the square root to get rid of the square, giving you x plus 5 equal to positive and negative. And remember, the square root of 21 gives you a decimal, so we'll just leave it as the square root of 21. And one final step, we want to get rid of this 5 on this side by bringing it over. So when it comes over, it becomes a negative 5 plus or minus square root of 21. In this example, the first thing we will do is bring this negative 17 to the other side. It becomes a positive 17. So that leaves you with x squared minus 6x. And now we have a blank here to complete the square with. 0 plus 17 is 17. On the side, we're going to do the two steps. Step 1, take the negative 6 divided by 2, negative 3. Step 2, take this negative 3 and square it. Negative 3 times negative 3 gives you positive 9. And this positive 9 is going to go in here. And because we added 9 on the left side, we need to add 9 on the right side as well. And now we have 17 plus 9 is equal to 26. And on the left side, we can go ahead and factor this. It's going to be x minus 3 squared. And so remember, this minus 3 came from step 1. Now we will go ahead and take the square root of both sides to get rid of the square. So here we're left with x minus 3 is equal to the square root of 26 cannot be simplified, and so we just leave it as positive or negative square root of 26. And for one last step, we just need to bring this negative 3 over to this side. It becomes a positive 3. And we have our answer. X equals to 3, positive or negative, square root of 26. Now for this example, the first step is we need to move this 14 to the other side. This positive 14 will become a negative 14. And 0 minus 14 is negative 14. And here we have x squared plus 6x and leave a blank. Now we can do our two steps. Step 1. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Step 2. Take the 3 from step 1 and square it. 3 times 3 is positive 9. So that's why we will add a 9 on this side and add a 9 on this side. So what we get here is going to be x plus 3 quantity squared. Remember, this 3 came from the 3 in step 1. Or, if you don't remember that, you can just go ahead and factor x squared plus 6x plus 9. Now, on the other side, we have negative 14 plus 9 is negative 5. By taking the square root of both sides, we have x plus 3 equal plus or minus square root of 5 with an I. And the reason why we have an I is because when you take a square root of a negative number, you only have imaginary solutions. Now, for the one final step, we need to move this positive 3 to this side. That will give you x equals negative 3 plus or minus I square root 5. And for this example, we will begin by moving this 24 to the other side. It's negative 24. That leaves you with x squared minus 4x and blank equals 0 minus 24 is negative 24. Now to do our two steps, negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. In step 2, we're going to square negative 2. Negative 2 times itself will be positive 4. So we have a plus 4 on this side, plus 4 on this side to balance things out. And this side will give you x minus 2 quantity squared equal negative 24 plus 4 is negative 20. Now to get rid of the square, we're going to take the square root of both sides. Well, the square root of negative 20, because it's negative, we know it's going to give you I for imaginary. And this 20, we can try to break it up to simplify 20. We can do 5 times 4. And 4, we can break it up more. It's 2 times 2. So this gives you positive or negative 2I square root 5. Now, one final step is to move this negative 2 over to this side. It becomes a positive 2. So our answer is x is equal to positive 2, positive or negative 2I square root 5.